Let's get ready to rumble.
Yes, we're back. It's episode 105 of the Hibs Ramble, and it is a gruesome twosome back with you once again on this fine Tuesday evening. It's me, your host Liam, and of course, the ever handsome, the ever present Mr. Shaun Corrigan. How are you, my friend?
I am refreshed, raring to go, and ready to slate all things Hibernian.
Wow, slay or slate?
Let's go with slate.
Okay, I thought you were giving us some RuPaul's Drag Race lingo there.
No, nah.
What have you been up to? You look like you've been doing some sort of physical exercise today.
I've actually not been doing anything physical, so that probably says a lot about the fact that I'm running on next to no sleep. So
No, it's just because you've got a football shirt with number 22 on it.
Yeah, just a training shirt, one of my Australian training shirts. But nah, although I am really tired and running off not a lot of sleep, I am actually feeling quite refreshed. So it contradicts itself, but
That's good.
that's probably because I had a much better weekend than the majority of Hibs fans.
No, I'm glad to hear it. Glad to hear it. Did you play when you were out in Australia?
Yeah. Played one season.
Oh, did you? I didn't know that about you.
Yeah, played for Ashfield, based in Perth. Great laugh. Good squad as well.
Shaun, I've known you for a very, 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 very long time, and I had no idea
There you
you
go.
played when you were out there.
Hidden gems all the time.
Absolutely, mate. Absolutely. That's the main thing, isn't it? Every day's a school day.
Always got a wee surprise up my sleeve for you.
How long can we go without talking about the game, do you think?
We can talk about a game. We can talk about Atletico Madrid Las Palmas, which is the game I attended at the weekend.
Of course, you were in Spain over the weekend, weren't you? Kept
That's
the Ramblers updated with some scran pictures for the Bernabeu and the, what is it now? The Wanda Metropolitano?
The Riyadh Air.
What's its real name?
Metropolitano.
This is like calling the Etihad when it's the City of Manchester.
Yes, well, unlike some Ramblers, I am C2C. And I felt rude not to make everyone aware of the quality or lack of at both the Santiago Bernabeu and the Metropolitano.
Good. And what was the score? Did what's his name score? It's his fucking name. I keep wanting to say Ollie Burke, but it's not him.
Ollie
McBurney. Did either of them score?
Scott McKenna, no. Scott McKenna started. McBurney came on last half an hour, caused a bit of trouble. But do you know what, right?
That is the most baffling sentence. Caused a bit of trouble away at Atletico Madrid.
I know. I'm obviously a big advocate of non-British based football. But the game was pretty rank, to be fair.
What was the score?
2-0 Atletico. It was a bog standard Atletico clean sheet victory under Simeone. Simeone's laddie actually scored. He scored the opener. His wee laddie scored the opener, which was his first goal for Atletico. So that was good. Simeone looked like he was about to have a heart attack on the sidelines for 90 minutes. They got denied a penalty for handball.
They got denied a penalty?
They got denied a penalty. The ref went to the monitor and had a look at it. And I know we're going to talk about a similar instance, but it must have took about 5 or 6 minutes for the ref to even decide to look at the monitor, and then he looked at the monitor for 2 or 3 minutes, and then stuck with his decision and did not give it.
Good.
But all in all, it was a good trip. The match wasn't that great, but they have a barbecue before and after the match as well, around
like
the
a big
stadium,
tailgate,
in the fan zone and that, which is great. The food inside the stadium was pretty rank, to be fair. It wasn't that great. the burger and the hot dog that was ate at the Santiago Bernabeu on the tour, though, was delish. That was really, really good.
No quite Scotch pie. Feast
Nah,
Wood.
no, the burger at the Bernabeu was on a brochet bun as well.
A
And it was
brochet.
uh,
Brioche, you mean?
brioche.
Fucking brochet.
Um, and it was dripping in cheese. It was
It did
so
look a wee
good.
bit greasy though.
It was good though. It was good grease.
It's maybe what you need, Maybe what you
Yeah.
need.
Whereas the chicken ham nonsense ciabatta maybe that I had at the Metropolitano was dry and pretty
Which
rank.
is a shame because it's a fairly new stadium. You'd think that they'd have their scran up to scratch, eh?
Yeah, I know.
Disappointing.
Inferior to their local rivals. So I
Well, I
know how
feel
that feels.
disappointed for you. I really do. But listen, what's even more disappointing is Hibernian again dropping more points from winning positions. This time, again, to the hands of a certain Jim Goodwin's Dundee United. At home this time, 1-0 up at half time. Game obviously finishes 1-1. Shaun, I know you weren't there. You didn't watch it. You've seen the highlights. But before the game kicked off, did you think that this was? I feel like we're saying this every week now, but these games are now getting increasingly even more must win, must win, must win week by week. That we're not actually picking up 3 points.
Yeah, I think it is. I did actually um, manage to catch most of it up until I missed all the late drama. So all these memes that are kicking about watching Hibs for 80 minutes being fantastic, and then for 90 minutes being dreadful. Yeah, I caught bits and bobs of it. Obviously, I was in mainland Europe, so I was able to watch it,
This is a
which was great.
completely
Um,
legally.
or not so great while I was tucking into a barbecue outside the stadium. But um, yeah, it's what concerns me is that I was really hoping, and you said it, Craig said it, Mark said it, like it was probably one of our stronger performances this year, and it certainly looks like that based on the highlights alone. And you look at the stats, it makes it look like we battered them as well, and
Mhm.
makes it look like they didn't really deserve to get a point out of it. But what concerns me the most is that I was really hoping we were going to get the 3 points there because of the fixtures that we have coming up. I feel like considering who we've played up until the beginning of December, yes, Aberdeen are flying and we've got them soon as well, but I feel like it's favourable-ish fixtures to put
Yeah,
a little bit of a run together. And the sooner we do that, the further away from the bottom of the table that we could have potentially got. I mean, at one point at the weekend, we were sitting ninth when we were winning 1-0 because
does he?
I think Kelly were beating Dundee at that
Kelly
point.
were beating
So
Hearts, I think. No, wait,
um,
no, that was.
they were playing St Johnstone. Hearts were playing St Johnstone.
Aye, Kelly Hearts were the week.
Kelly were playing Dundee. So yeah, it was really frustrating. What is more annoying is that the fact that we were on the metro heading back before we were going out for dinner, and we were taking bets on when we were going to concede, and we were talking about this in like the 85th minute.
Yeah,
So I wrongly said that we would hold on to it, and as I said that,
penalty.
the penalty was
Dundee.
given, the red card was given. Yeah, so same old, same old. Starting to feel bad for some of the players and actually feel bad for David Gray as well.
Well,
It's
it's
actually
funny that you say
frustrating.
that because before we actually move on to the negativity of actually conceding late goals again and the VAR decisions and decisions not given and stuff, I kind of want to touch on a couple of more positive points from the weekend. And I do agree with David Gray that we did perform pretty well first half. Not clinical enough by any stretch of the imagination, but a player that I feel has been taking really big strides and improving his game week by week, and he's looking ever more solid is Marvin Ekpiteta. Again, I thought strolled it on Sunday. He and Warren O'Hora are starting to really solidify this partnership at centre half. Warren again, I think, had a good game, but Marv for me was a standout. Really, really very solid and growing in confidence game by game. Fuck it, I don't know if you can hear those fireworks outside. It's bonfire night where Shorter make some fireworks. Never
Sound like
boring.
fireworks inside your house,
It's
not
the Hibs
outside your
Ramble.
house.
Yes, no, it's of course. Well, I mean, sometimes it's fireworks inside this house, but Megan's not here tonight, so that won't be happening. Where was I? I've lost my train of thought now. Talking about Marvin Ekpiteta. No, genuinely, I thought he strolled it. I wanted to kind of get your views on him. Obviously, he had a little bit of a shaky start to his Hibs career with a couple of high-profile mistakes, but I feel like since then he's been pretty solid, and people maybe aren't giving him the credit that he's due.
Yeah, week on week, I'm starting to see a wee bit more credit come his way. I think the mistakes that he was making at the beginning was making Warren O'Hora look even better than potentially what he is. And now they're just kind of starting to find their level a little bit now with each other, more importantly. It's such a difficult position to come in and play at the best of times, never mind when you've got a brand new goalie behind you and a brand new other centre half in as well. So it's very difficult for the three of them, in particular those two. But yeah, week on week, he is certainly improving, and I think, like anything, you want a consistent run in the team for certain individuals. It's all fine well training 5 days a week with each other and maybe a bounce game here and there in training, but it's a different kettle of
It's not the
fish when
same.
you're
You
actually
can't
playing on the
replicate
weekend.
that sort of
No,
intensity.
you can't. So I think it's good that they've played pretty much every single game this season together. And listen, I do think that the results will come. I think bit by bit performances are there, and we are showing good signs at times. But in recent weeks, we've just been very unfortunate through refereeing decisions and individual errors.
Yeah, I think you look at the full context of the game on Sunday, and I think you could probably say that it sounds so tin pot, and I hate it when I hear managers saying it, but we probably did enough to win the game. Not nowhere near clinical enough again, mind you. I feel like this Hibs team, before we start to get comfortable, we maybe need to be 2 or 3 goals ahead before we head into those closing stages of the game. But Jordan Abita, again, for me, looked like another standout, another player who's maybe taken a little bit of flack at the start of the season for his performances, but a spectacular cross in for Lewis Miller's header to put us 1-0 up in the first half.
Yeah.
And obviously he provided a fantastic assist at Tannadice as well, a player that maybe looks to be getting his mojo back a little bit, and probably for the best, because I don't really think we're blessed in the left back area.
No, we certainly need it. Obviously, Nicky Cadden's coming back. We've got Iredale as well, but that's not like neither of them are a like for like replacement as well. And Jordan seems like the type of player that seems to do better when pressure is on him in regards to positional sense, someone breathing down his neck. It seems no coincidence to me that Nicky Cadden's coming back to fitness and Iredale's getting a bit more game time here and there, and Jordan's performances are getting a little bit better as well. I just want to touch on your point where you feel that the side need to go 2 or 3-0 up to before we can kind of not relax but be a little bit more confident about winning. And I think I can obviously understand that point. But if we had maybe, and I know it's all if buts and maybes, but if we had maybe held on to a couple of these points out of the 11 that we've dropped, we probably wouldn't be saying that, because I feel like in a lot of games we have looked defensively strong. The last 2 games we have, in my opinion, looked relatively strong at the back. At times, yes, an individual error or a couple against Hearts and a refereeing decision on our last one, but I do think if we can get away from these individual errors, I think we are strong enough and solid enough at the back to be able to keep clean sheets. We've not conceded a lot of
Yeah.
goals in the league. Obviously, from the teams that we would expect to not concede many from anyway. So, yeah, I think we've got a strongish foundation there. It's just maybe them gelling together, and I think that will come over time. But yeah, the vast majority of fans are a little bit more reactionary, so they're probably screaming at me right now.
No, I think it's fair to see it from both sides of the coin, though, because yeah, I do agree that the performances are getting there, and it seems to be like it's less our own doing and more bad luck these last couple of games. Um, but no, I can completely agree why folk would be disagreeing with me there, because a Hibs team should never be bottom of the league 5th of November. It's unacceptable. Um, and the performances, fucking hell,
I seen that one. I seen that one out the window.
that was a big one. The performances, if they have been there, they've been there in 20-minute, 25-minute spells across games. That doesn't pick you up 3 points every week unless you're playing the blind school. You know what I mean? So the fact that we are showing these signs is good, yes, but it needs to be far more consistent. And the fact of the matter is, until we get the finger out and start being, I think that the problem is we're not clinical enough in front of goal. Until we start being more clinical in front of goal and that was another big one, and putting our chances away when we get them and make our lives a little bit easier, I don't think we'll really see any improvement on the results side, to be
No,
honest.
I agree, and it's frustrating because you look at the amount of attacking talent that we have, um, and maybe under another manager that maybe knows a little bit more about the players that we have at their disposal, or maybe knows how to get more out of individuals, maybe it would be coming a little bit quicker than it is for David Gray. Um, it just depends on the management style and what
Mhm.
David's trying to achieve, which is obviously success and win games. And yeah, it is frustrating that just at the minute we are just lacking that cutting edge, which when you look at what we've got, both starting, injured, or on the bench, yeah, it's baffling that we struggle to score more than a couple goals in a game.
Yeah. Um, yeah. Lewis Miller clearly gets his goal right, but I felt for the vast majority of the game, the only threat that Dundee United really posed us was Glenn Middleton down that left hand side when he was playing there. And Lewis Miller again looked like a lost puppy up against him. You would have thought that he'd have learned his lesson at Tannadice, but it looked as if that Dundee United were forcing the ball down that left hand side to get to Middleton and to run at Lewis Miller. And thankfully for Miller, thankfully for the rest of the team, it didn't really come to much. I can't remember an awful lot of times in the game where they really threatened us, be it first half or second half. I think there was maybe a couple of opportunities that they had, half chances in the second half that maybe flashed across the face, or there was maybe just no one in the box to poke it home. But genuinely, I thought these fucking fireworks are doing my head in, man. Keep throwing me off the scent. But no, is Lewis Miller a problem area? Is that right back area a problem area for us at the moment? Because
Well,
we've only got Lewis
he's,
Miller
he's being
if
targeted.
Gadden's injured.
It's as simple as that. He's being targeted at the moment. He isn't like this. Honestly, I don't even know where to start. If I'm honest, um, yes, he is at the moment, unfortunately, which is strange because he's got his Australia call-ups, he's got his goal for Australia, and yet he just seems to consistently be getting caught out week after week. And normally, when you think about it, your right or your left back, more often than not, are coming up against the best player in that other team
Mhm.
in most weeks. So you need a strong right back. You need a strong left back. Like there was a time where, like we always had Lewis Stevenson for 40 odd years at left back. There was a good spell where you could probably count on one hand how many times he had been beaten by an opposition player, and that's including your Celtic and Rangers and Hearts, just because he understood the opposition player that he was up against and he understood what he needed to do to get the better of them. Like very, very rarely, up until like maybe COVID, he very rarely got beat man
Do you
for
not think
man.
that that's a dying breed though? That fullback that is defender first and
Yes,
support second.
but you should still understand the opponent that you're up against, and whether that is lackey preparation from him or whether that's lackey preparation for the coaching staff or a mixture of both. He's being targeted at the minute. It was very similar when Josh Doig first came through as well. He got targeted more for his height and his physicality.
Mm-hmm.
Lewis Miller has the complete opposite of that. He's tall and strong and can hold himself. He just chucks himself to the ground quite a lot, but he
At
tries to
times
buy
very good
fouls
on the
at
ball, and I thought
the
at
wrong
times he was
areas of the
actually pretty
pitch.
good on Sunday.
But like anything at the minute, quite a few of our players are either down on their luck, maybe mentally, or just in-game moments. They're just not winning the duels that they would normally win. And the more games that goes on for, the less likely you are to want to be able to defend as a defender. When I was watching the game, he spent the vast majority of it in the final third. And
Yep.
so did the beater. So you can see what David's trying to do, but then he is getting caught out a lot. So,
Mm-hmm.
and again, against teams like Dundee United, we can maybe get away with it because they don't have that clinical edge or they don't threaten as much. But yeah, he does need to sharpen up a little bit. But we've been saying that, for weeks and weeks. You could maybe argue the fact that your right winger should maybe be doing a little bit more from a defensive perspective. But then again, David Gray might want his wingers to be high and wide or
Yeah.
tuck in and support the striker. So then you would maybe be looking at Triantis and Kwon to be the ones to step in and support Miller, like many centre midfielders do nowadays. So it really depends on the game plan for David Gray. But I think it's a mixture of Lewis being hung out to dry, him either not knowing his opponent that well, and lack of support from either the centre halves or the centre mids as well.
Do you think it's like maybe it's just a personification of where Hibs are at the minute? That's maybe
It's a big word for
what
you.
Lewis Miller is. Well, thanks, mate. That's what Lewis Miller is showing. Is just that he is embodying everything that Hibs is at
Yeah,
this moment in time.
I would feel inclined to agree because he's scored a really, really good goal at the weekend. Took it very well, powerful header, dominant in the air there. But then last week he wasn't dominant in the air and got outmuscled by a 17-year-old who had to go home and do his school homework after he scored the equaliser. So, yeah, no, you're right. He is.
It's a shame. It is a shame. And for us, especially as a podcast, selfishly, we love Lewis Miller every year. We're hoping that his performances pick up soon because it seems to be a bit of a ramble curse at the moment that anyone that we talk to either goes on and doesn't do very well or leaves the club. So, yeah, we'll just keep our fingers and toes crossed for Millsy, but the meat and drink of it, Shaun, these penalty incidents. Second half, for the majority, was a fat load in nothing. And then you get to the 88th, 89th minute, and you're thinking maybe we're actually going to hold out here because genuinely, I thought up until then, contrary to what Jim Goodwin said in his post match, saying that he thought that Dundee United got the better of us second half. I don't particularly agree. Of course, he's going to say that he's a United manager, but up until they got the penalty, I really didn't see, and even as the ball came in, that set piece that they whipped in there didn't really have an awful lot of threat to it. For me, the penalty from where I was sitting in the West Lower, right, kind of the opposite end of the ground to the incident, I didn't see the tug from Kukarevich initially. I didn't know what was being checked for because I think at the end of the move there's a foul that's happening just on the edge of the box. And I thought that the referee was listening from VAR, because from where I was, it looked dead tight. I thought maybe that's been inside the box and that's what he's checking for. But then, like in real time, someone sent the video in of what the penalty was actually given for. It's a tug in the box, and we've actually got. I've clipped up Marvin Ekpiteta chatting about it. So we'll listen to his views before I get your take on it, Shaun.
Yeah, from what I didn't say anything wrong. I didn't say anything happened.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure the ball wasn't in the same area that the penalty was, because we would have seen it, and no one knew what happened, what was going on. So it's frustrating. I feel like as a defender, both ways, defenders do it to us in their box and we do it to them in our box. So it does happen. It's a physical game, so it is annoying. But yeah, I haven't seen it back yet.
Mm-hmm. Running the risk of games gone, maybe.
Before I give you my opinion on the incident, do you not think over the years we've been blessed with quite handsome centre halves? Ekpiteta is a handsome man, no?
Yeah, he's pretty handsome.
And if you think about him and Ahora, that looks like a pretty handsome back centre half pairing. Paul Hanlon, not too bad.
Darren McGregor.
He was partnered with Darren McGregor. That's a good pairing. James McPake's not an ugly man. He was a good centre half.
James McPake is an ugly.
He's a handsome man. Yogi Hughes, another handsome centre half.
Yeah. I mean, I can kind of get where you're coming from, but then I'll raise you Michael Nelson.
I'm just saying, over time, we've had our fair share of
Jordan Forster.
Handsome man in his time.
Shut up.
Aye. Bit bald now.
Yeah. I saw the Herbalife, I think.
And his actions in recent years haven't been the greatest, but aye. Hibs are traditionally a very handsome club.
Aye. No, actually, Kim, what? I will agree with you there. When was the last really fuck ugly player that we had?
We've probably got one right now, but it doesn't spring to mind.
Dylan Levitt looks like a bit he looks like a bit of a junkie. Eh. He does look like an extra for train spotting.
Well, shouldn't he?
I hope you're not listening, Dylan, because that sounds very nasty. Well, I think he's one of these where he plays for Wales, but he's actually English. So technically.
But as for the actual incident, after hearing what big handsome Marv had to say, Marvin Bartley as well, that's another handsome man. There we go. That's another handsome Marv. Now I'm just thinking of handsome Hibs players. Yes.
Who's another Marvin? I can only think of Marvin Ekpiteta, Marvin Bartley, and then Marvin Andrews. Marvin Andrews never played for us.
No, he did not. No, what Marvin said there is spot on. Like, if you're given penalties for that, you're really, really struggling to get through any level of football match without there being a penalty for a shirt pull. Now, we'll obviously come on to the Hibs one in a minute, but that one in isolation is never, in a month of Sundays, a penalty. You take into, yes, you give the referee a decision to make because you're pulling the jersey, but every single couple of players, opponents that are marking each other, they're pulling each other's shirt, they're chucking elbows into each other, they're doing whatever they can to throw them off their balance, and
there's a still of it from the famous 5 end, looking towards the goal that at the Dunbar end, and there's a Dundee United player grappling with a Hibs defender, not 2 players along. So, yeah. And
which then contradicts the next one, because that's then flipped on its head. Whereas he gives a foul for Marv being a bit physical, but then doesn't give a penalty for Warner Horror's shirt being halfway up.
Obviously, we will talk about that. We've got other clips and stuff to hear, obviously, from Marv and Dave Gray as well. But it's the fact that the ball comes over, and Kukarevich and whoever he pulls down
is nowhere
near. They're never getting the ball.
No way.
I can understand why maybe you wouldn't get a foul for that in the 40th minute. That's a get up and play on. I think the referees kind of shat the bed a little bit, to be honest with you. And
Yeah,
I
and
know I sound dead bitter, but that's my honest opinion.
I think we've, as have other clubs, but we have had some absolute stinker decisions go against us. Goals given that shouldn't be given, fouls not given that led to goals and red cards, and penalties being given that were never penalties. And then in the same match, we then don't get a penalty for something just as bad, if not worse. So,
Absolutely.
yeah, it's a very difficult one, but to put it simply, it's never a penalty. The trajectory of the ball is going nowhere near the player. Yes, you talk about off the ball incidents that can still be free kicks and penalties and red cards and stuff like that, but not a pull of the shirt. I could understand if Kukurevich just swung an elbow or a fist at the boy and hit him in the face,
Yeah.
but that movement alone is not a foul in the box. And there's other shirt pulls that have happened countless times during that match that were never given before this one. Never mind
But,
cover
like,
one.
that's not given in the middle of the park. So I don't understand. And like you said, you're running a risk of having 25 penalties a game. I don't think either of them are penalties, to be perfectly honest. But if you give one, you've got to give the other. But before we move on to the Hibs shout, again, obviously conceding late on, throwing away points from winning positions. This is what Marv had to say about our fortunes recently when it's come to the final stages of games.
In terms of the manner of the goals that we conceded, how frustrating is it to keep conceding these goals late on, and how important is it that we turn these draws into wins going forward?
I'm lost for words now, to be honest. It's happening way too often. We can't do this ourselves. We've just given ourselves. We play so well at the start of the game and dominate the games, and just keep conceding silly rubbish goals towards the end of the game, and it's becoming a recurring theme now.
You can
That was
tell he's
kind of
really,
eye-opening to
really
me.
pissed off, eh? You can
It was
tell
kind
he's
of
really
eye-opening
pissed
to me
off.
that he actually come out and said that he's saying it's happening far too often and we're conceding stupid goals. And that for me is like something that a supporter would say, not something that you expect one of your players to come out and admit. So is it maybe I'm clutching at straws here, Shaun, or is it maybe a little bit positive that the players recognise that and understand that you can play as well as you want for 85 minutes, but if you're 1-0 up and you chuck away a goal, that sounds so Michael Owen. If you're 1-0 up and you chuck away a goal in the last 5 minutes, then you're not going to win the game.
More often than not, no, you're not.
Chip him.
Yeah, very honest from him, but he's been like that in all his interviews that he's done. He was like that the one that he'd done prior to the derby as well. So it's easy to sit here, do they recognise it? Of course they recognise it. They take pride in their performance. They take pride in results, and football is a winning business. So listen, regardless of whether they support the club or not, if you are on that pitch, regardless of what team you play for, and you concede that late on, you're pissed off, you're frustrated, and you're raging. And if it's happened in 8 games this season, or however many it is, and it's cost your team 11 points, you're absolutely livid, because I can guarantee you those players will be looking at that table and thinking, how the fuck are we bottom of the table? We've chucked away 11 goals. We could, hypothetically, which isn't the case, obviously, be sitting 3rd or 4th or maybe even 5th or 6th comfy.
I mean, the fact of the matter is probably I thought I counted it up as 14 points, Shaun.
Which is then even worse. But
I've counted it
point,
up points lost from winning positions, so points that we've missed out on when we've been leading in games this season is 14. And if we'd have taken like 6 of those 14 points that we've thrown away from winning positions, we'd be in the top 6.
Yeah,
I don't think that's a far stretch to say, if we took 6, so that's like what? That's 2 draws into a win and 1 loss into a win.
So the 2 Dundee United, the last 3 games then, the 2 Dundee United and the Hearts game. So those players will be looking at that table and thinking, how on earth are we sitting bottom of the table on that amount of points with those amount of wins? And then you look at how many goals we've conceded in the last, 10 minutes or something like that, and it's 9 goals. So the players will be fully aware of it, and like I said already, you just hope that the weekend's result there was going to be the one to get over the line because of the games that we have coming up. Because if that was, you couldn't have wanted anything better than a 1-0. I would have rather at the weekend we won
No, I would have
1-0
fancied that 2-0.
than 7-0, which might sound stupid, but
It does.
that 1-0 victory would have been edgy at the end of the game. That 1-0 victory would have been tough at the end. That backline would have been under a hell of a lot of pressure, and if they managed to hold on as a squad, the confidence that would have gave them would have been much better than a 7-0 when they're 5-0 up after 60 minutes and it's a piece of piss to the end of the game, because that's not going to happen a lot during the season. Whereas between now and the end of the season, we're going to be 1 goal ahead going into the last 5 or 10 minutes. So you were really, really hoping that was going to be that 1-0 that gets us over the line.
It kind of shows what we're made of.
Exactly.
But no.
And it's now going to play on the minds of the players. It always plays on the minds of the supporters because we know what Easter Road is like. But it's also going to play on the mind of David Gray. Should I make this change to prevent this from happening? Should I make this change? And because he's such a rookie manager, he could then be led astray either by his coaching staff or by himself personally and end up making the wrong decisions in regards to subs. Or he might be too stubborn and be like, no, this squad of players have got it in them to do it. And then it could happen again.
Yeah. Well, just before we talk about the Hibs penalty shout that we had just moments after Dundee United put their penalty in the back of the net, this is what David Gray had to say about the consistency of the decisions throughout the game.
The biggest thing for me is we were told at the start of the season about what would be given, what wouldn't be given, and the player clearly can't affect the ball as it comes into the box. I don't think there's any real intention to pull him to the ground. It was just a shot pull in the box, which you can't do at times, I get that. And then the referee doesn't give it, VAR intervenes, and then the lack of consistency for me then is the thing that's hardest to take, because then at the other end, Warren O'Hara can clearly head the ball. I don't think either of them are penalties, if I'm being brutally honest. But you can clearly see he's got his jersey, stops him jumping and pulls his shirt. I don't see the difference, but why he wasn't asked to go over and check it again, so the lack of consistency is a huge problem. And I firmly believe that's what's cost us the game today, was a poor decision in the box, because I thought the players done enough to go and win the game.
We spoke about it earlier, Shaun, just very briefly about the fact that, the Kukarevich, the ball goes over his head when he pulls the player down. Warren O'Hara, as Dave Gray says, has got a really good chance to get a header in to keep the ball alive or to get the ball towards the goal. It kind of beggars belief why there was such a delay in getting the referee to go to the monitor for the Dundee United penalty, and there was little to no check really from the VAR team, and the referee wasn't advised to go to the monitor. That I don't think you can really blame on the referee, because he doesn't give either in real time. So down to him, he clearly doesn't think either are penalties. But these people who are looking at the VAR have got the benefit of looking at it right away, multiple times. They look at both of those incidents that we've now seen multiple times on replays, and have decided that they're different outcomes. That is truly, truly baffling.
Yeah, and I'm inclined to agree with everything that David Gray says there. Although the only thing that I slightly disagree with is our one is probably more of a penalty. I know he says both of them aren't. I think of the two incidents, if you isolate them both, I think ours is one. It would be a very, very soft one, but it would still be one, just based on the amount of the shirt that is pulled and how close Warren O'Hara.
Do you think he's not given it because of Ekpiteta is all over the boy just behind them? Do you think they've gone... do you think it's a case of they've looked at that and said, well, Ekpiteta's fouled him, so I'm not going to give that in the box because a Hibs player is fouled?
Yes.
But then, if you look at that, for the Dundee United one, there's a Dundee United player fouling a Hibs player in the box.
Yep.
So, that even if you try to explain it away and think about the VAR rationale, you can't. There's no way of justifying why one's a penalty and one isn't.
Yeah, you can't. compare the two incidents, like any two incidents on the pitch, right? You can't compare any of them because there's no two incidents that are the exact same, right? And they've both got different variables. And this is a prime example of that. Like, the Dundee United one isn't one. There's miles away. And, there's other grappling in the pitch. The ball's nowhere near where the ball's going. So that should just be, right, the ball runs its course and it goes out of play and, it comes to an end there. And that phase of play comes to an end. And then you compare it to our one, there's lots of other different variables. So I get what you're saying in regards to you're trying to explain it, but then if you then compare it to the other one, you then explain it. The referees are trying to referee the matches independent to each incident, and they've got both of them wrong.
Mm-hmm.
It's as simple as that. So the referee, although he might have subconsciously, he can't then think about that Hibs one and go, well, I can't do this because of what I done however many minutes ago. Or I
No,
can't
but
do
it
this
shouldn't
because
even
of
be
that.
a case of that, because if the bar is clearly that low that the first one is a penalty, then I don't
That's why I'm saying they've got them
understand.
both wrong.
Yeah, but I don't understand then. Surely, even in the subconscious of the VAR, you think, well, this has happened 2 minutes ago and we've literally just given a penalty for this exact thing. Does this meet the criteria that one does? And for me, it does. I'm not a VAR professional, but for me, it does, looking on. At the time, it did. Maybe because Hibs were chasing a winning goal and we'd maybe just been really hard done by out of a penalty. I maybe thought it was more of a penalty, but I've looked at it back and it's a penalty. It is.
It's more than
If,
the Dundee United
if
one.
that one at the other end, and I know you said that you can't compare and that the referees are going on a decision by decision basis, but if there's a criteria that needs to be met for pulls in the box that are given as penalty kicks,
Oh, it meets it.
and that one meets it, then this one meets it.
Yes, correct.
And I don't think anyone can really disagree with that. And I would love to hear what the rationale or the thought process is behind not giving it. Because if it's because of the Ekpiteta foul, then they've clearly missed a foul in the other one. And if they'd seen that, then would they have given that penalty? Or was it not enough of a foul?
I know.
Fouls should be black and white. Penalties decisions on pull-in should be black and white. And it seems like at the moment, and I feel like I'm going, woe is me, Hibs being hard done by VAR and all that. I think we've had a couple of stinkers of decisions, but nowhere near the level of bad decisions that we got last season. I think for the most part, VAR has probably improved in terms of time, time spent like looking at things and stuff like that. And I think the officials on the back of that have improved as well. But there's really no justifying that, Shaun. There really isn't.
No, not at all. Not at all. Completely agree, mate.
Right, and before we move on to the listener questions, David Gray was talking about some positives that we could maybe take from the weekend's game into the St Mirren game that's upcoming on Saturday.
Lots of positives, especially the first half.
Yes, lots of positives. I think I've already alluded to what the positives were. I think they deserved another clean sheet. Didn't get that. But what I would also say is actually credit to the players once it goes 1-1, down to 10 men. That happened 13 days ago and we lost the game. Whereas today I felt we were the team that was then going to go up the pitch and score. So the desire after that, I thought they were then holding on for a point rather than us sitting in and being under pressure. So credit to the players for that, and the fans were brilliant in that moment as well, really behind us and spurred us on.
Yeah, I agree with Dave Gray there. Obviously a man down. I completely forgot about that as well. I keep forgetting that Kukarevic actually got a second booking and got sent off. But I feel like the reaction was pretty good. In terms of on the pitch and off it as well. There's been a lot, we spoke about it last week, made of Hibs fans being quote-unquote toxic. I didn't feel that at all on Sunday. I know you weren't there, but sometimes you get a real feel in the stadium. We come into the game bottom of the league, we left the game bottom of the league. I didn't really think that there was an awful lot of bottom of the league mentality from the people that were there, 15,000 or so.
Yeah, it looked
there
full. Yeah, it did. It
again
looked
at
full.
the weekend, and I understand this thing of the fans are toxic on social media, and I kind of going away on a wee bit of tangent here, but I wanted to talk about. I thought it was important that social media can be toxic, but I think that is a vocal minority sometimes, and people like fans need to vent, and if social media is their way to vent, then let them do it. I feel like everyone needs an opinion, but don't think the fans are the problem here. There's something definitely going wrong at the club. Where it's going wrong and what is actually going wrong, don't know. But one thing's for sure. I think me and you could probably both say in full confidence that it's not intentionally going wrong. No one's out to get the club. There's no dark magic juju curse that's going on inside Hibs. But no, I think there is positives to take, Shaun. Circling back, I'm doing the weave. I'm doing the Donald Trump weave. Coming back to what I was talking about.
Is he going to make an appearance tonight at all?
I don't know. I think it's maybe a bit topical for tonight.
Okay.
You never know. He might come out later. Might come out later. I was.
Depends on the topic of conversation.
Yeah, probably. But I think there is positives to take. David Gray maybe beefing it up a little bit there, but I feel like we could probably go into the game on Saturday in a little bit more of a positive mood.
I think the players will, though. I think the players will. And I think the fact that, yes, I know St Mirren will come into it, and even if the game's close going into the final 10-15 minutes, that's probably going to give them more motivation than it's going to give us, because our players will be like, oh, fuck, here we go again, final 10 minutes, just praying to get through it. But I think at some point, the players are then going to start to get like a wee, siege mentality type vibe, where they're going to start to think that everything's going against them. And instead of it affecting their performance, it's going to maybe rile them up a wee bit, and it's going to cause them to be like, right, okay, we're going to get our arses in gear here, and we're going to prove to everybody that we shouldn't be bottom of the table, and it's just going to be like a more of a pride thing. And I feel like a lot of the players that we have at the minute fall into that category, where they might not support the club, but they're proud to play for Hibs, and they're proud of not at the moment, obviously, the results that we get. So their pride is at stake, and they'll be wanting to perform at a higher level, and they'll do whatever they can to try and get us over the line. Because as you can tell in Marv's interviews, he's hurting.
They're pissed
and he's
off.
pissed
Of
off
course
at
they
what's
are.
going on.
Of course they are. And like Tony mentioned last week, the fans, the players feed off the fans, and the fans feed off the players. It's a complete give and take. And I feel like the players are trying and the fans are trying, but it's just not going right for us at the moment. So fingers crossed it's Saturday. It's a great chance at home against a struggling St Mirren team who really haven't looked brilliant since they pumped us in the opening day of the season. But it's maybe a good. I feel like we've been saying this every single week, but it's a good chance to get more points on the board. And I think the players will recognise that as well. It'll come. Of course it will. Of course it will. But that doesn't make us being at the bottom of the league and playing the way that we're playing hurt any less at the moment. And I think that's what people that are trying to have a positive outlook on it, right, are having a positive outlook on it, and I understand that. And I feel like there's maybe a bit of a divide between folk who are inherently negative and folk who are inherently positive, when I think that there should be a balance in the middle. There should be you look forward positively because you're hopeful, but you realise that what's going on isn't good.
Isn't good enough. Yeah.
Isn't good enough at all.
Yeah.
But being far too negative and bringing that negativity to the games isn't going to help, because that's not going to make the players want to play for you, for the fans. And yeah, it's their job, this, that, and the next thing. But at the end of the day, they're human beings as well. The old cliche comes into it where someone comes into your work and starts screaming abuse at you, you're not really going to do your job that well, are you? You're going to be too fixated on what someone is coming in and screaming at you. If they're calling you baldy, or if they're calling you, Shaun, you've got a fucking massive forehead, or whatever. Shaun, you can't grow a proper beard. You're a grown man. What's going on?
Are you just trying to get some things off your chest? I'm feeling a bit.
I think so. I think you've been nasty to me the last few weeks.
That's 3 attacks there. Is there anything else you'd like to get off your chest?
Shaun, you always eat pasta. I don't know.
Okay. Are you quite done?
I'm done, and I'm done talking about.
Do you want me just to tell you that I'm having pasta for dinner so we can move on as well?
No,
or?
because John's actually asked us this week, believe it or not.
Okay.
He's actually asked us. But yeah, obviously, looking ahead to Saturday, very, very, very quickly, Kukarevich is going to be not injured, suspended. Dwight Gale missed out on Sunday through to injury. Kieran Bowie's obviously injured. If Dwight Gale's not back, who plays through the middle up front?
Eliuan.
I've seen a couple of people online saying that Eliuan should be the player that's go to, which is mental, given that the same people that are going Eliuan through the middle are going Eliuan isn't playing for the shirt, isn't doing this, isn't doing that. So
Eliuan went through a very strong spell in a Hibs shirt through the middle when we needed a striker. We now find ourselves in a similar position again. Mm-hmm. So, let's see. Listen, we've drawn the last 3. Yes, you could argue all 3 of them should have been victories, but we are where we are. The strikers that we've had on the pitch in the last 3 games, along with some of our other games, clearly haven't been good enough to put the ball in the back of the net. So why not? Why not Eliuan? Yeah. We needed a striker. Was it last season or the season? 2 seasons ago, he stepped up and done it very, very well.
2 seasons ago when Lee Johnson was manager.
Yeah.
Now that brings us on to this week's listener questions.
Now it's time to answer the Hibs Ramble listener questions.
So as always, Shaun, John McIntosh is up first, and he says, dinner, I suppose.
I am actually having beef rigatoni, so yes, I am having pasta.
Lovely. Well, like a ragu sauce?
Yeah, I think there's a wee tomato-y, creamy thing in there.
Oh, fair.
Yeah.
Fair. Sounds nice.
It's nice. It is nice. It always is.
I am breaking the cycle. If Tony Terrace is listening, he'll be happy to hear I'm not having pizza. Tonight I'm going to have pulled pork and rice.
Oh, pulled pork.
Pulled pork and spicy rice for my dinner.
I've got some pulled pork to make in the fridge. Maybe chuck on a wee burger or something.
Yeah. I do like a wee bit of pulled pork and rice, and sometimes I chuck it in a wrap, make it like a wee pulled pork burrito. But I'm not going to wraps in, so that won't be happening tonight. It'll just be pulled pork and rice. What route do you want to go down with these questions? Do you want to go down football questions, or do you want to go down non-football questions first?
Is there non-football questions there?
Yeah.
I'll go down whatever route. You're the host. You lead the way.
But I'll just go from top down. Gav Dick, and we say this every single time Gav sends in a question, and Craig isn't here. But genuinely, thank fuck Craig isn't here, because this one even made me lose a few brain cells, Gav. He says, I have to say that I agree with what Craig was saying about Gray a few pods ago. And now, I can appreciate what Gav's trying to do here, because, you know, in like articles when they're talking about someone and they say, oh, he or she, and then in brackets they've got who they're actually talking about.
Yeah.
He does that here. He says, as he, brackets, Gray, close brackets, could ultimately get us into more bother. Then, thoughts on the pen. We've given you your thoughts on the pen. Ultimately, I believe it's really soft, but our penalty shout, spelled A-R-E, would have also been a softer decision. And now he's right. He's completely right. But, Gav, again, you're going to need to brush up on that spelling and grammar.
I absolutely love him.
Gav is the beating heart of the Hibs Ramble.
I can't believe you just said that. You have just outraised 2 Johns
I feel like Gav
Nige.
Lewis Miller personifies Hibs at the moment, but I think Gav personifies the Hibs Ramble, and that it's fantastic takes, but put in a horrible way, in a horrible fashion, with no style, no bottle. But no, I think we've kind of touched on that, Gav, so I'm not going to answer that again. Liam Riley, who actually I seen tweeting that the only teams that we've beaten this season are Peterhead, Elgin, Queen's Park, and St Johnstone, and it's November. And
That's high caliber. That's high caliber teams.
Yeah, but it's a bit concerning. He says, "Can this be defended? Is there anything you have seen that's shown progress or a change from the beginning of the season? Is there any signs of improvement since last season? I'm all for giving time to someone if I can see progress, but I'm seeing fuck all right now." This was tweeted more or less right after the game, and I think we all kind of needed to take a beat to calm down a little bit. But I genuinely think that there is... The players are there to get us out of this mess. I don't think it's... If we keep playing the way that we're playing and shipping cheap goals, Liam, I think that we could probably be in severe trouble come the end of the season. But I think I kind of believe in the players that we've got in the building at the moment to get us out of this. And is that blinkered? Maybe, but I'd rather err on the positive side than the negative side. But no, like I said earlier on, Shaun, I can completely agree where folk are coming from when they think that we're doomed.
I can't. I think we'll be fine. I think the quality of the league at the minute is very, very poor.
I think we're lucky at that, though. I think we're very, very lucky that
I think we'll
the
be
rest
fine.
of the teams, apart from Aberdeen and Celtic, have also been shit.
Yeah, I think we will be fine. I'm basing it on absolutely fuck all, and I have no theory to back it up on other than just a feeling in my balls
Blind hope.
that we'll just be fine. And I do think that. I think
Well, you heard it here first, folks.
I think we'll get there.
You can sack off your tactical analysis. Monday Night Football nonsense. Shaun thinks we'll be fine. So, ergo, we'll be fine. Next up, Kev Wilson. And I think this sentence kind of sums it all up. Should be shocked, but I'm not. Had lots of the ball, but made very little chances. Never really looked like scoring a second. Completely agree. Gray's inability / reluctance to change things when they're not working, coupled with a group of very soft players, will eventually get him the sack, sadly. I
maybe
don't think
he also can't trust the players he has on the bench, and maybe that is the problem.
Maybe, because I think he's kind of shown with his substitutions in the last 3-4 games, they've all been vastly different and trying to lean on different players. I don't think he knows, or maybe like what you said, I don't think he trusts players to come on and affect the game positively.
There's players that are continually on that bench that are not getting a look in regardless of what position.
I mean, you look at Jake Doyle-Hayes and Nathan Mariah-Welsh, and now a week past Sunday, they come on as substitutes. Today they're in the resis against Hamilton. So you've got to think... Yeah, but why then have them on the bench and play them in the game against Hearts when there's Rudy Molotnikov there, there's other players there who could step into that position? It baffles me. I just think that David Gray is still trying to find his feet with the squad that he's got. And I hate to pin it all on one player, and I hate being this guy, because whenever someone's injured, they always get, week by week, they get better and better and better. I mean, we've seen it with Christian Doidge. By the time he came back, we thought that he was going to be the second coming of Ronaldo and Nazario. But I think if Kieran Bowie had maybe stayed fit, I think a lot of these draws that we were winning in the last few minutes, I think we probably would have seen them out, because I think we maybe would have scored another couple of goals in these games.
We also wouldn't have signed Dwight Gale.
Yeah, probably not. Well, maybe we would have.
Nah, we wouldn't have. No, we weren't signing him. Big Malky got the phone out as soon as that injury happened and made the deal.
Fair dues. But no, can't even remember what
Whatever
one.
happened? Well, you said there was non-footballing questions here.
Yeah, I'm coming to them at the end because I kind of want to get the sadness out of the way
Right,
first.
okay. That's fine.
I want to kind of take you to your lowest point, right? Take you to your lowest and your deepest
Good luck with that.
pit of sadness and anger, and then bring you back up again with a couple of
Okay.
non-football questions. Ian says destined for relegation.
No.
This is not the Ross County Ramble. No, well, I certainly hope not. But if performances and results do not improve, then you never know. You never know. Dean Salim says, "Do you think that we need to give Gray more time, or have we seen more than enough?" For me personally, Dean, I think I've got to give him the time. I've been vocal about this on the last, since we've started the podcast. Every manager that we've had, I've been like, "Oh, give him time, give him time." But genuinely, I do think that we're seeing very, very small signs of improvement week on week. And that, for me, is enough, coupled with the fact of who David Gray is, that he warrants more time. Do you think, Shaun, that he'll be given more time purely because of that header at Hampden?
I think that's got absolutely nothing to do with it, to be
Do you
honest.
think subliminally in the fans, though?
Yeah. Because any other manager, we would be holding protests outside the ground and the players wouldn't get to leave. So yes, I do, from a fan's perspective. Obviously, David Gray still had to apply for the job. He still had to go through a presentation. He still had to go through an interview. He still had to go through all these stages. I highly doubt, I would like to highly doubt, that he's went through all those stages
And there's been someone better than him.
and been shit at it, and they've still went, "Oh, we'll give it to him just so we can get more time." So he, like, more of a yes man. David Gray doesn't seem like the type of person that would, sit there and just accept what is going on at the club, whether it be on the pitch or off the pitch. I think if anything is going to happen, he'll walk. He won't be sacked.
When was the last time we've seen that?
Managers just don't do it now because they want a payoff, and rightly so.
Yeah, fair dues. Ryan Matthews says, "We are toast." Toast. Next up, we've got another question from Dean, actually, and he says, "What is your go-to Chinese order?"
Shredded chicken, salt and chili chips, rice, sweet and sour sauce, and if I'm extra hungry, which I normally am, I get salt and chili chicken as well.
Oh, salt and chili chicken bits, or like the shredded chicken?
So like the bits that's like in the batter.
Yeah. I get you.
So I have the shredded chicken, and I then have like the crispier shredded salt and chili chicken as well.
I like the shredded beef in chili and honey sauce. Some fried rice, some salt and chili chips, and then I'm quite partial, Shaun, to a wonton.
Oh,
I like wontons, and I like what am I thinking of? The long things with vegetables on the inside, spring rolls. I like them as well. I feel like sometimes you need to order a spring roll, just to kind of tick the box of vegetables. Do you know what I mean?
not for me. When I order my Chinese, I ask for them to take all the veggies out.
Go beige, completely beige.
Just give me. I don't want any of your veggie nonsense. Just give me the meat, give me the rice, and give me
Do
the
you
chips.
not like veggie spring rolls though? I love veggie spring rolls.
Not for me.
Fair dues. And finally, before we move on to a quiz that you've so kindly prepared for us, that I've already won because there is no opponent apart from the listener. Colin McLennan asks, and I've been thinking about this, and I've got two answers. If Hibs were a song, just now, what would the song be? And do you want to hear mine while you think about yours?
Yes, I do.
So, the first one that initially came into my head was I Think I'm Going to Kill Myself by Elton John. But I've
I don't
kind
think there's
of...
anything that I could say that would top that.
But I think I'm going to plump for Oops, I Did It Again by Britney Spears.
I'm going to go through some of the ones I've got on my Apple Music. So
Are you an Apple Music? Are you a fellow Apple Music man?
Apple Music. Yeah.
Oh, mate. I tell you what, I say it to Megan all the time. She's Spotify through and through. And everyone that I know is Spotify through and through. But Apple Music is made for iPhone.
You're going to have to like get this clip on TikTok and get people commenting like, are you Apple Music or are you Spotify?
Thing is, if you're Spotify, you're dead wrong. Apple Music is where it's at.
So I'll quickly skip through some of the songs, right? So I've just quickly seen Adios. That could be us at the end of the season. Ain't No Love in the Heart of the City, which is probably true at the minute. Let's skip through a few.
For both clubs.
Potentially. Give It Up. Let's have a look. What else have we got?
Come on, Shaun, we've not got all night.
I just thought I would have been able to see a little bit more than that. Patience.
Fair dues.
Probably need that. So yeah, I don't know what one I would go with. Probably go for one. I'll go One for the Road.
One for the Road. Arctic Monkeys.
Which is what a lot of Hibs fans will be saying after half of our games so far this season.
And maybe after Saturday, but you never know. Obviously we're hoping for a win. I think it'll come, but report back next week and you'll find out what we think. But Shaun, please take it away with your quiz because I am absolutely desperate to.
It's your favourite part of your week.
It's my favourite part of my week, especially because I can't lose today.
You actually can't lose. Other than your pride, you cannot lose. Right.
Craig is shat the bed because the last few times that we've had a quiz, he goes, "Oh, look at me, I'm the reigning champion." He's not fucking ages.
He hadn't said that he wasn't coming until after. I made him aware of the quiz and then he shat the bed. And I even called him out for it as well. But here we are.
I'm not afraid of the quiz. I'm not afraid of it. I genuinely am the reigning champion as well.
Right, so we've got 2 quizzes for you, Liam, and obviously the listeners. So let us know in the comments what you got. Shirt number quiz again, and then we've got a St Mirren quiz just to wrap us up for the evening. So,
have you made it easier because it's just me?
Well, no, the shirt number quiz I had prepped from last week anyway, or the week before. So, okay, I think this is an easy start, but I guess we'll see. Who was the last player to wear the number 3 shirt in a competitive fixture for Hibernian?
Was it? Jabria.
You're right.
Yeah! Vamos!
Question number 2. Number 9 is the only other starting 11 number vacated at the minute, as Dylan Vente is well known. Prior to Dylan Vente, name me the last 3 players to wear the number 9 shirt.
Wait, what? Tell me the start of that question. It's the only vacant shirt.
So out of the starting 11 numbers, so 1 to 11,
there's only 3 and 9.
3 and 9 are the only 2 that are vacated.
Oh, right,
okay, so just had a question on 3.
Yeah.
Now you have a question on number 9.
Okay. Right.
Okay, so obviously, because Dylan Vente is away on loan, we could bring someone in and give them the number 9 shirt. So it's vacated at the minute. Name me the last 3 players to wear the number 9 shirt. And obviously, all these questions are competitive fixtures.
Mm-hmm. So 9, the last 9 that we had before Vente was Doige.
Okay.
And before that, you're going back to before COVID, aren't you? I'm trying to think of the strips. Jamie McLaren, maybe when he came back. I know he wore 9 when he came back, but I'm not too sure if that's too far back. Because when did Hecky get the job? Because Doidge was a Hecky signing, right? In the summer, and he got the 9. I'm going to say that it was Jamie McLaren,
Okay.
and then before that, Matt Levichus. Oh,
You went one far. You went one too far there. So Christian Doidge wore it before Venti. Christian Doidge got taken off him as well, didn't he, for Venti?
well, he went because he went on loan, didn't he, to Kilmarnock,
Aye.
and then Venti
Um,
came in, took 9, and Doidge took 23 or something.
Do you remember when Hecky was at the wheel, who the strike partnership was when he first came in?
Oh, was it Mark McNulty?
That's correct, yeah. So Doidge, McNulty...
Because I knew that Mark McNulty had the 9, but I couldn't remember if he was number 9 first, or if he was number 13 first, or when he had the 9.
There you go.
But Big Dave had it as well, though, didn't he?
He did, aye. He was the next one. He was the one before McLaren.
I think, to be honest, that's more impressive that I got that than...
It is, but in regards to the actual question, you got it wrong, so...
No, fair dues.
Question number 3. What number does Luke Amos wear?
14.
Is that your final answer? You sounded unsure.
Yeah, because he wore 15 last year, and I know that he changed 14.
Cool, correct. Well done.
And he wore 15 last year, eh?
Oh, we need to go and check. I can't remember.
That annoys me when players move like one number up or down, or like 2 numbers. Like McCurdy from 22 to 17 annoyed me.
Just depends what they're wanting, eh?
Are you a bit? I've got a bit of shirt squad number like
snobbery.
Yeah,
etiquette.
You know what I don't like though? You know what I don't like? A lot of people do like it when your starting lineup is numbers 1 to 11. I don't like that.
Very rare.
I need there to be a couple of 24s, a couple of 19s, just spread about. But like you can't. There's numbers like that are obviously the 1 to 11 are positional numbers, but you can't wear 17. I think this is probably because Ivan Sproul, but for me, you can't wear 17 and not be a winger. Or you can't wear, I don't know, like 20 and no be centre midfield.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? Have you got those kind of snobbery takes as well?
No, I do. No, I completely get where you're coming from.
What numbers are your centre midfielders? 6 and 8 or 4 and 8?
I do like a wee 4 for a centre mid.
4 in the middle of the park. I think Steven Gerrard changed that when he wore 4 for England.
Speaking of number 4s, question number 4.
Yay.
Prior to being number 4, what shirt number did Paul Hanlon wear?
Now, sometimes he did play at centre mid, so it was okay for him to wear this because it was number 20, wasn't it?
That's correct. That is correct. Could you tell me what season he turned from 20 to 4?
From 20 to 4, I think he still wore 20. What season did he start at number 4? Because how I can remember it is the font that has been used on the back of the shirt, so I can visualise that. And I remember him being 20 in the season that we had the central badge in the green, in the white and the black kits. And I want to say it was the season after that, but I don't think it was. I think it was the season following that, which would have been the year we got beat by Hearts in the cup final, 11-12.
That is the year he changed.
Fuck it out.
Yep,
Oh,
correct. It's quite funny. After question number 3, you mentioned the number 20.
mm-hmm.
The number 20 was the answer. You then started talking about number 4. We were on question number 4. Question 5 is about Ivan Sproul, and you've mentioned Ivan Sproul as well. What was Ivan Sproul's first shirt number at Hibs?
It was 30 something, wasn't it? 36 is jumping out at me, but I don't know if it's right. But I'll go 36. Was it 30 something? 38? No, I don't know then. 37.
34. 34.
That's another one that I don't like. It's good for a striker though. I liked Melkerson when he wore 34.
Yeah. So there you
I'm
go.
quite chuffed with that, you know. I'm quite chuffed with that. I think Craig would have got that Sproul one.
Yeah, Craig would have got
but I don't think he would have got the McNulty one.
No, he would have got the McNulty one.
Do you think?
Yeah, he would have.
I don't think he would have got the Paul Hanlon one. Even though he claims to be Paul Hanlon's
ask him
best
in the
card.
chat. See if he finds out. See what he
No,
gets.
because he'll go and Google it. You ken what he's like. He's a fucking rat.
So yeah, well done, Liam. Will the shirt number quiz come back? For
So what did I get? Did I
possibly?
get 3 out of 5 there? 2 out of 5.
So you got 3 out of 5.
If you got better, let us know in the comments or on Twitter
Yeah.
or Facebook or whatever.
I'll start making them a wee bit tougher as well.
Well, I thought that one was tough enough.
Aye. Right, St Mirren quiz. Here we go.
I'm going to be shy at this one, I think.
Which club did Jack Ross manage more games at? Competitive games.
Fucking hell. I think he got over 100.
For those that are not aware, Jack Ross managed both Hibernian and St Mirren.
When did he take over at Hibs? He was manager through all of COVID. And then like half of the season after it. Was he the manager before? I think aye, because Hecky got so he was there for like 2 years basically. On either end of the COVID season. I'm going to say Hibs. I think he's got more games for Hibs, but I think it's slight. I think it'll be slight.
So if I was to tell you that Jack Ross managed St Mirren for 80 competitive matches, would you think that Jack Ross's Hibernian tenure is higher or lower then?
Yeah, higher, because I initially thought that he had, if not over, very close to 100 games.
96.
Yeah.
96. Speaking of people that managed both Hibs and St Mirren, I would like you to name me 3 other, not including Jack Ross, Hibs either managers or players that have then went on to manage St Mirren.
To manage St Mirren.
Manage.
Ian Murray.
So they can either be a Hibs player or a Hibs manager, and they have also managed.
Okay.
St Mirren.
Ian Murray's one.
Okay.
Alan Stubbs another.
Okay.
A player or a manager. I know Tony Craig was there at one point. Was Tony Craig the manager? But does he count? You know, counting Tony Craig?
Not official managers.
Try to think players. Players. Has Van Zanten ever had? Is this permanent managers?
Yes.
Oh, you may have tripped me up with this one. Is there a really obvious one that I'm missing?
For me, yes. For me and Craig, yes. I would have got. I've got 4 on my list, and you've got 2 of them. I would have got all 4. I know for a fact Craig would have got 3 of the 4.
I feel like there's one that's jumping out at me that I'm not going to get. I don't want to drag it on too much longer, so I'll give up. I'm happy with the 2 that I've got.
So you're right. Alan Stubbs managed St Mirren after managing Hibs. Ian Murray played for Hibs, managed St Mirren. Alex Miller was also manager of St Mirren. And Danny Lennon played for Hibs.
I don't think I would have got either of them.
No.
Alex Miller I knew was the manager of Hibs, but I didn't know that he managed St Mirren, and I had no idea that Danny Lennon even played for us.
Or was it played for St Mirren? It was one of them. I was on his Wikipedia earlier. Can't
Well,
remember.
he managed and played for St Mirren, didn't he?
Alex Miller.
Oh, no, I thought you were talking about
I'm
Danny
talking about
Lennon.
Alex Miller. Yeah. Right, okay. Talking about people related to both clubs, because that's obviously the purpose in the quiz.
David Van Zanten.
You don't even know the question.
But is it an answer? Because I got one right, remember, last time with Grant Brevin.
It is. David Van Zanten is an answer to the next question. How many have I got here? 1, 3. I would like you... I'm still going to ask you for 5, and because you've said David Van Zanten, David Van Zanten cannot be included in one of your answers, since you didn't know the question. So if you kept your mouth shut, you would have made it easier for yourself. Name me 5 players who have played for both Hibernian and St Mirren, and David Van Zanten is not one of the answers that I'm accepting.
Are you accepting the 3 McGinns?
I am. That's why I said.
Can I
That's
name-
why I thought I would ask for 5 and not 3.
Can I have the 3 of them? So
Yeah.
I'll have John, Stephen, and Paul McGinn, of course. David Van Zanten, I can't use him. He would have been my next one. St Mirren. Alec Gogic is one.
Yep.
And James Scott's another.
Can you name me any more?
I probably could if you gave me a little bit more time. There must be loads.
I'll give you some clues as some of the other names that I've got on the list here. So,
Goalies? Not any goalies?
So the first clue that I'll give you is chocolate legs.
Chocolate legs?
Yeah.
Kyle McGuinness.
Yep. Used to work in exile.
Darren McGregor.
Irish Republican.
Paddy Craig.
Okay. That still plays.
No,
at the
wait,
club.
no, he wasn't St Mirren, was he? Jake Doyle Hayes. Paddy Craig was Falkirk, right?
Scored wonder goals for Hibs.
Stevie Mahan. Look at there's loads. There's loads.
Scored the winner at Tiny.
Ross Caldwell, did he play for?
Yes.
Oh, right enough, so he did. I remember that, actually.
Yeah, there's probably a few more.
There's probably loads more.
Laverty as well, but that's a bit before your time. Right, okay, you mentioned Alec Gogic, so I've combined both quizzes here.
Come on.
What shirt number did Alex Gogic wear at Hibs?
13.
He was another one that went from one number to a lower number. He went from 14 to 13 at Hamilton.
He suits 13 the way,
Does
doesn't
he? He absolutely does.
Is he,
Right,
is
last
he 13
one.
at St Mirren as well?
Yeah. Last one. The 6th of May, 2023, was the last time that we beat St Mirren at home in a league fixture.
Mm-hmm.
Who scored and what was the score?
The 6th of May 2023.
Yep.
So
if
you're
you can't
talking-
get this, if you can't get the score, I'll give you, and then I want the scorers.
So you're talking what? The tail end of season before last, I think. Was
So
that
you're talking the shirt with the stadium on it?
Mm-hmm.
The Kevin.
I know we
McGrath
beat them.
at
We
Tiny.
beat them. Was it 3-0 that season? But I think that was earlier on.
That was the game before at Easter Road.
Who scored? And what was the score? Oh, you're testing me here. I can't remember. I don't know. I'm going to say 2-0. Did we beat them 2-0?
It was 2-1.
Mm-hmm.
And the goal scorers were Ellie Ewan and Will Fish.
Yeah. He had like a knack of scoring against those teams, Will Fish?
I scored a couple in quick concession. I can't even think of the word.
Quick succession.
Succession, that's what I'm looking for.
That was a fantastic quiz. I enjoyed that one. Certainly better at the squad numbers one than I was at genuine, actual Hibs history.
We might just have to just start doing quizzes week in, week out if Hibs just continue to drop points and lose.
I do like a good quiz every now and then. Actually, I say every now and then. I like a good quiz whenever.
And a lot of our
Whenever.
listeners are a little bit younger than myself, so it's educational as well.
And if you don't know who David Van Zanten was, you need to brush up your knowledge on one of the best, Irish fullbacks to ever play the game. Very versatile, could play on the left, could play on the right. The epitome of underwhelming fullback, but did his job. I didn't mind him at Hibs, I really didn't mind him.
That was when we were going through a spell of just being rotten.
Yeah. Do you think he was that bad? I think he's looked on worse because he's of who he played for and like the caliber that he had.
Maybe.
I liked him. I thought he was okay. Did a job better than Zarabi. Mind him, he was fucking useless.
Yeah, I do remember him.
Absolutely useless. We got him after David Murphy left. We thought we were getting David Murphy, but just from Morocco. Was he Moroccan, Algerian, something like that?
What a huge downgrade that was.
Yeah, I remember. I think I've said it before in the pod, but the one thing that I remember about Zarabi is that he had, and this was in the era of when you would tape up your shin pads with a tape over the socks, but it wasn't like actual tape. It was like Velcro, like a bit of material Velcro, and his had Zarabi written on the front of it. And I thought to myself at the time, I can't remember how old I would have been, but I thought to myself at the time, how much of an arrogant prick do you need to be to have your own name on your like ankle tape? But looking back on it now, it probably just so that people knew it was his, because I don't think it was anything to do with his ability.
I don't know. Not everyone had that. I can't imagine many Hibs players having ankle tape, so maybe it was intentional. His career turned out brilliantly, so I'm sure it was a little bit arrogance.
Did he actually do anything after he left?
No.
No.
It
was fucking shite, wasn't he? Absolutely shite. Drop your Abdul Zarabi favourite memories in the comments.
No worries, Jim White.
Oh, tell you what, this has been a cracker in episode. I've enjoyed this one, Shaun.
I'm glad.
I feel like we have more fun after we don't win.
I thought you were going to say we have more fun when Craig and Mark aren't here. That's what I thought you were about to say.
Well, you never. I never said it. You took the words maybe out of my mouth. I don't know. I don't know, man. But no, listen. If you've got this far, of course, as always, thank you very, very much for listening along. Let us know how you got on the quiz, more importantly. And
Donald Trump to close us out?
Remember to follow us on X. Elon, he made X from Twitter. Elon, good friend of mine. Wow, can you believe it? Elon's voting for Trump 2024. Kamala, get out of here, Kamala. Yeah, follow us on Twitter, on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube.
Do you know?
Yada.
I know this makes absolutely no difference. Sorry to interrupt your outro. That Scotland, I don't know where they get these votes from.
Oh, I seen that.
In Europe or outside of America are the biggest Trump supporters. Fans. Yeah.
But like
is that you just going on all these sites and registering for different people and voting?
Yeah, well, I seen that, but like it was misleading really, because it said that 25 or 24% was for Trump, but then the other 75% was for Kamala Harris. So does it really matter? No. And also, does it really matter because it's Scotland and Scotland doesn't get a vote in the election anyway? But I did see that actually. And well, by the time that this podcast comes out on Wednesday morning, we'll know who the new president of the United States is, whether it's Kamala Harris.
And I will care even less.
Or Donald Trump. Well, it's kind of a win-win, really, isn't it? Because if Donald Trump wins, and it's like comedy value, but then if Kamala wins, and it's a win for women everywhere. And that is where we'll end tonight's episode. Yeah, thanks again for listening, and we'll catch you after the 7-minute game. So have a nice week. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.
Let's get ready to rumble.